The Wampanoag Indigenous Program at Plimoth Plantation was given quite an honor recently by the Smithsonian's National Museum of the American Indian. The museum accepted the donation of a traditionally fired Mishoon, a Native American dugout boat, from the Wampanoag Indigenous Program for the museum's collection of Native artifacts. Recently, the Mishoon, as well as a video documenting its creation and produced by PAC-TV, was delivered to the museum in Washington, D.C. PAC-TV Community News brings you the story.
The National Museum of the American Indian was established by Congress in 1989. And our responsibility is to present the history, art, and culture of the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere and Hawaii. And to do that, we inherited a collection of around 1 million items.
Plimoth Plantation has been a Smithsonian affiliate now for almost 10 years, and it provides the museum access to all the resources of the national institution and increases our proficiency, our expertise, and enables us to reach new audiences that we can't reach on our own.
One of the first things I did when I became director of the National Museum of the American Indian in 2007 was to go to Plimoth Plantation. I'd been to living history museums before, but never one, frankly, that had the authenticity concerning Native people that you find at Plimoth. The Wampanoag Indigenous Program there really came up with this idea. I think they saw here in Washington, one of the first displays that our visitors see is a collection of canoes that have been made recently. And so I believe some folks from Plymouth saw that and thought we should have one of our canoes here. Well, we were delighted, of course, that they would take the initiative and create the Mishoon and bring it to us. We're here today to celebrate the arrival of the Mishoon, to express our appreciation to Plymouth and to the Wampanoag for the generous contribution of the Mishoon. And we're going to give it a fine home, both here at the Cultural Resources Center and almost surely at the museum on our National Mall in Washington. So it's very exciting for us. We're very grateful, and we're happy to have both Plimoth Plantation and the Wampanoag people here.
I think the Mishoon is the perfect example of how the relationship between the Smithsonian Institution and Plimoth Plantation benefits both organizations, because for the Wampanoag Indigenous Program celebrating its 40th anniversary, to be able to present one of their native crafts to a national museum where their experience as Eastern peoples will be recognized on a new level, and then to be here in Washington today for the presentation of the Mishoon and to have all of the museum professionals, archivists, librarians here talking to the makers. And what they told me this morning was that the reason they're so excited is it's very infrequent that they get to talk to the makers and get to understand the technology and the choices that they will preserve for future generations of Americans.
This exhibit, this boat's going to be around longer than I'm going to be around. And my kids are going to come down, my grandkids, my great-grandchildren will be down here seeing it, and they can be proud of what they are. Them being Mashpee Wampanoag, they can come down and look at the exhibit on a national level and say, wow, they got something from my people here, which is really cool.
When I was a young boy, I would usually spend Saturdays with my grandmother. She ran the museum in our community. And when I was a young boy, being brought into that kind of setting, being immersed around museums and artifacts and history and culture, never did I think I would be standing where I am today, doing what I'm doing today with the guys that taught me what I know and brought me into it, standing shoulder to shoulder with them. It's great. It's fantastic.
Just seeing the amount of people here was pretty amazing. The gratitude, the love, you just felt it. It was something special today.
For me, the moment that was the most touching was standing by the Penske truck as the Mishoon was about to come off and go onto the dollies, and to look over and see Philip, one of the 3 young makers of the Mishoon, and the level of emotion and pride in his face as he was waiting for that moment and realizing I'm now in a national arena, and that an object that I made now belongs to the nation. It was very moving.
For me, this day, I can't even put into words, I suppose. I always remember something that stuck with me a lot when I was younger. My grandmother said, "You always remember yesterday and it will lead you to tomorrow." So, in a sense like that, to continue what was done yesterday to help guide us to tomorrow, never forgetting where you come from, and that will help lead you to where you're going. So that's something I always take away from stuff like this and such a historic event like this. I'll never forget it. It'll be a while before you get all the smiles off my face.